Well, gents, we made it to the end of another DBCember list, and quite a few did not make the cut this year. Just because Dragon Ball is so, like, it goes hand in hand with these, like, transformations. Is it like the anime that, like, really started that trend?
Gosh, did it?
I want to say there were transformations before this, but it definitely put it in the mainstream. That's for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
you gotta agree. Like fucking Super Robo and stuff like that was probably doing it before Dragon Ball, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Like, look, I'm not much of an anime historian. It's why I asked that. It's why I put a question mark on it.
You had your Power Rangers, your Tokusatsu stuff.
Yeah.
People were transforming before, but usually
Yeah,
it was
but
like
that's-
they get something. This
they
was like
put on
the
a
body
suit.
itself changing. Kenshiro kind of changes. I don't know.
Yeah. It does kind of feel like Dragon Ball kind of introduced, if not introduced, then popularized a lot of shonen tropes that we see to this day. And I definitely gotta think that transformations like the Super Saiyan stuff and the stuff that we've covered on this list are definitely high up there, especially villain transformations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this
especially
isn't even
villain
my final
transformations,
form.
which you argued against vehemently.
I'm
those
so
people-
happy other people were like that it would just be Super Saiyans on the list.
It
No,
really
it
would.
It would have been. I made my case. Anybody who's on the Patreon can see our list video where we actually came up with the entire list.
Your whole
but yeah.
list is only Saiyan stuff.
And now now it's time for us to shatter some hearts with some fan favorites that just could not make the list for various reasons for us.
We will be
kinda-
going in chronological order just to
Yeah.
make sure that we don't miss anything.
And in order to make sure that we aren't putting anything in any particular importance, like we have no necessary favoritism, which will later be shown when we accidentally skipped over something and go back to it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, actually, the first one that I gotta bring up is the one that a lot of people have brought up, which is Monster Carrot transformation. I gotta bring it up just because a lot of people keep mentioning it.
Turning people
Yes.
into carrots, man. I mean, it's terrifying. It's one of the few uncontrolled transformations, like something that is unprompted. It's not under your control. You're a carrot now.
Nick, I think you mean carifying.
No, I did not
No.
mean that. Don't put
No.
words in my mouth, you monster. You're
See, I
terrible.
just feel like the carrot transformation is probably the peak of character development. That was one of our big criteria. I just think it's really hard to get past that one. So that
really
kind
is.
of we really dropped the ball here.
I mean, it changed Bulma's character entirely.
Yeah.
Hmm? I mean, before her many outfits, which, we'll get to that list, I swear. But yeah. I think, like, directly after that, or maybe slightly before that, you had Oolong and Poir with their literal transformations. Like, they went to, what was it, Transformation Kindergarten or something?
Yeah, transformation school.
Yeah.
No, transformation kindergarten.
I swear to God, that's a dubism that I've heard at some point.
With all the other
we were in
gifted transforming
Transformation
kids.
Kindergarten before.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
The fun thing about that is that it ages Poir and Oolong a little bit. Not a lot of people know this. Poir and Oolong are children, which definitely makes that scene with Oolong stealing the child brides way less gross.
And then you give him the voice of, like, a 1930s vaudevillian carnival barker.
Where's my apple juice?
Give me your children. I'm a giant knight. Now I'm a tank. Now I'm a bat. Hey.
Anyway, but yeah. Then there's Buff Roshi, which Buff Roshi was never gonna make the list, but I think that's the first one we like out of these honorable mentions that I kind of miss.
He was there.
It's like you
He's big.
could have gone with it. It's one of those things where it doesn't really feel like a transformation. It feels like kind of like how we said, like, 100% power Frieza, like full power Frieza isn't really its own form. It's just Roshi. It's just Roshi kind of buffing himself out and flexing his muscles that he's like, that's just, he has that. Like, those are his muscles that he's just flexing.
Yeah.
Kind of why, like, Ascended Saiyan isn't, like, on the list. Like, Ascended Super Saiyan, whatever it is.
Wait, you mean Super Saiyan grade 3? I think they call it.
Ultra Super Saiyan in the dub.
Yeah.
The colloquial in my head was Ascended Saiyan. Like, that is what that is those are the words that stick to that form in my head. It sounds.
You do mean buff Trunks, right?
I mean buff Trunks and slightly buff Vegeta, because they do give him that as a form in one of the Tenkaichis, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, although technically buff Vegeta is different from buff Trunks.
Yeah, buff Trunks is the second one.
Yeah.
He's Ultra Super Saiyan 2.
It kind of blew my mind when I found out that the Daizenshu grade the Super Saiyan forms. Like,
yeah,
because
like a whole thing.
It is a whole thing. Like the grade, we're
you kind of have to. There are so many damn Super Saiyans.
Well, but Super Saiyan 1 is the only one with the grades. Because Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3 are just Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan 1 though has like,
because Super Saiyan 2 is like those grades, but condensed into like, a nice neat package where they aren't all buffed up and broly looking.
Yeah. Before 2 happened, it was all just little, hey kids, we know Super Saiyan happened, but I'm Super Saiyan, but like a little better. I'm that, but +1.
But yeah, for basically those reasons of it just kind of being that like it didn't really feel like have the feel of a transformation. Buff Roshi, wasn't gonna hit this list.
Nah. Although again, that's just the first one that we've gone over. I'm like, oh, I really like that.
Yeah, unlike I think the next one on the list would be what, Man-Wolf, who stares at Krillin's head and turns into one of the ugliest son of a bitches you'll ever see.
Oh, you weren't kidding when you brought up Man-Wolf. Okay.
No, I wasn't. That's a transformation. The man turns back into a human.
30 minutes of Man-Wolf debate, go.
Does he have to follow around Krillin for the rest? Yeah, he was. Does he have to follow around Krillin for the rest of his life? Also, is he offensive to all the people who are just like, the normal animal people? And he's just like, no, I reject this. Fuck you. Embrace it, asshole.
I mean, if you go by Kakarot, there are no normal animal people.
Oh, yeah. They all took, drugs to become they had that Batman Beyond gene splicing shit, but with
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you didn't know?
Kakarot explains how there are furries.
Yeah, there's a drug that people can take to turn them into animal people, which
you want to know what it is, right? Yeah.
When I was a kid, I wrote a fan fiction about how I wanted to live in the Dragon Ball universe, and I guess nothing's changed.
There you go. That would be one of the most terrifying universes to live in, though, especially if you're just a mundane human.
Oh no, the Dragon Ball world is an existential horror.
I mean, maybe you got some good shit going on. Like if you're living in any of the peaceful times and you have that capsule tech and stuff like that, that's pretty cool. But soon as anything bad happens, you're just kind of like, oh fuck, I guess I'm along for the ride.
You're just asking for a baby to swallow a house.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, you're just praying to God that you were good enough that when the heroes use the Dragon Balls to bring back all the good people, that you're one of them.
You're one of them.
How many times have I seen that red guy?
Please recognize us. They live little gifts at Goku's house.
Oh, but what is the next one that we just neglected to address, or there were a few transformations in Dragon Ball. It didn't get outrageous until Z.
Yeah, and most of them were more normal contemporary transformations, like you said, fucking Man-Wolf and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There is the giant Namekian.
Yeah, I guess that might be the next one, actually. The next one that really counts.
Unless we're talking about Tien with 4 arms or something.
I don't.
That's a technique.
Okay.
That is a technique, sir.
All right, well, that didn't even make the list last year, so boom, didn't even make honorable mentions.
Some people have also argued that Ultra Instinct is a technique, and look, that is an argument. I will actually hear that argument. I'm not saying that you're necessarily wrong. We just decided to go with it being a form, considering
it was something that he achieved, and it drastically changed his look.
Yeah,
it transformed him. We'll get into that discussion in a bit. But Giant Namekian, I think we brought this up before, but it actually slowed down. When it happened, it's okay, interesting that he does that, but it really slows down the fight and makes it a little more bland, and then he goes back to his normal form and was like, well, fuck it, that's not working. So it literally hindered him.
Yeah.
Although again, it did give at least a small change of pace, and I believe that's how Goku saves Kami.
Yeah, I think Slug used it a bit better, although even in that fight, it's it's whatever.
But okay, I actually really liked it there, if only just because some of the animation, big
Oh,
and
the set
stretchy
pieces are
limbs.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he like pops his head through the building, and
Yeah.
like
Slug
they
had
use
a
it.
good callback with it. That was fun.
Yeah, they use it very well in Slug, but I don't think that's gonna be enough to top Janemba, you know?
No.
Yeah. But if after that, gosh,
After
what's
that,
the next one after that?
I think after that we're looking at Zarbon, honestly.
Yeah, I
like
think
it
so.
goes a bit.
Yeah. So Zarbon is actually one of the ones that I think could have potentially made the list if things had shaken out differently.
If
Just
we're doing
because-
a top 20, definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, well, if we're doing a top 20, I think Buff Roshi would have made it.
Oh,
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
But Zarbon, the reason I say Zarbon could have made the top 12 at the very least is because Zarbon's transformation is one of the first times in the entire series we see a transformation that requires basically nothing except for them to just kind of switch it on.
Mhm.
Which also again, it's actually kind of a cool transformation. There's no big pomp and circumstance to it, and it makes him ugly as sin.
Yeah,
but
more,
in a cool
I
way.
was gonna say, more than that, it actually plays into Toriyama's style of humor, where you have this pretty boy that turns into this like ugly, hideous beast.
Yeah.
It's like there's a bit of like subtle comedy to that.
Yeah. I think Zarbon's transformation is actually important to how things shake out later. And that's why if things had shaken out differently, Zarbon would have been on that list because he has, significance to how transformations work in Dragon Ball. It's a cool transformation, and he wrecks Vegeta's absolute shit.
Like it is a
Mhm.
definitive power up. It changes his look, it changes his demeanor, and it changes how you think about the character.
Yeah. So, hey,
Yeah,
Zarbon, sorry you didn't make the list, buddy.
Yeah, that one legitimately could have made the list. Frieza form, what, two and three? You can't compare them to the last one. It's one of those things where just because the last one, like his final form, makes the list, the other two almost feel like they're denied because of that.
I hate
In
to
a
say
way,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's kind of one of those scenarios where do we want this character to feature more than once?
And he arguably could have, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I mean, if in my honest opinion, honestly, the second form is less iconic, but has one of the better introductions out of the three forms he has. In fact, it has probably the best introduction out of all four of his forms, because when he stabs Krillin, I remember I was watching that in pure Japanese, no subtitles on the international channel. And I was like, holy shit, he just transformed. He's huge, he's big, and oh my god, he just stabbed Krillin through the stomach and he's bleeding everywhere. And I remember I was a child, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh god, Krillin's gonna fucking die.
And it's the first time like he strikes an imposing figure like that, because he's got that like devil sort of look to him with those huge horns, and he looked legitimately cool in second form, which is why I'm guessing they brought back that when they introduced King Cold, just like kind of leaving him in that form. It's like, yeah, no, just leave him like
cool.
that. It looked cool. You don't see King Cold showing. Yeah, you don't see King Cold showing up in Form 3.
Father, why don't you ever transform? Because this looks much cooler. Come on, look at me. I'm a giant with horns. Why am I going to be like a alien-looking thing or whatever that thing you're in right now is? Your head looks ridiculous.
I'm a robot.
Beep.
But yeah, for Form 2 and 3, you actually get to see the transformations, and they're kind of cool in a weird body horror sort of way. When it does come to his final form, which, admittedly is his most iconic look and his, in my opinion, his best look, it kind of happens off screen, like in the background, to the point that in the games, like in Budokai, when he transforms, they literally put him in like a purple bubble just so you don't see what happens.
Yeah, hang on, we gotta swap the model real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do cover that in the actual entry where like that transformation kind of sucks.
But
There's
it's worth
nothing
bringing
to it.
up.
But yeah.
I have a
It's-
soft spot for 3. I love that xenomorph looking thing and the
Oh, it looks
laser
cool.
move. I love it. It's so wacky. It's such a cool villain look to me.
And it gave us one of my favorite off the cuff jokes where it's just like you had the little xenomorph head that pops out of it. Let me touch your skin.
Oh god. I just remember I'll never forget that actual transformation sequence because the one with Form 2's transformation sequence is kind of dorky looking.
Yeah,
but
he like
also
buffs up.
He's got the tiny head for a second. It's so
and the
good.
little legs. And the little legs.
I love it.
But for the third one, I just remember that shot where the back of his head starts growing, and it's like, what is happening?
Yeah, I vividly remember him like snapping his head forward, his neck sticking all the way out, like, ugh.
Oh
So
yeah,
cool.
yeah. That was that was the second form actually.
Which is really cool because it leads you to like, man, what the hell is his what the hell is his last form going to be?
Yeah.
And then it's just this like sleek, neat little package, and it's just so cool.
I did like Krillin's little imagined version too.
Mm-hmm.
His fucking tongue hanging out.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. But after that, I think after that, it's a pretty stark jump to.
No,
well,
actually.
no.
The next one that really almost made the list, Final Form Cooler.
Yeah, actually, you're
Uh-huh.
right. Final Form of Cooler is really cool looking.
I had him.
The fucking
I had
Predator
him really
mask.
high on my list. Personally, I love that cooler look.
That cool.
I can't remember if he made my top 12, but he was definitely on my list.
I had him at 8. I love that look. That is my favorite. Whatever the Frieza race is, that is my favorite form out of all of them. Like,
I'll say this: if it were canon, and it weren't also just
Boo.
Frieza, if it weren't also just Frieza's brother, because that's the thing that kind of kills it for me is that it's this really cool looking form on a not very cool character in a not very good movie with a not very good idea.
that fight is good though. That's
Actually,
fine.
you're right. The fight is good.
If
That's
we're
why I'm
talking
watching
if we're
it.
talking purely on the merit of the form itself, it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's not earned. It just kind of comes out of nowhere because they need something. But god damn, is it one of the coolest looking ones? Like,
yeah.
I will stand by me think like I still think that Janemba looks cooler, strikes a much cooler silhouette, has a better color palette. But god damn, does that Predator mask not look sweet as hell?
Yeah, like I don't like him when he doesn't have it, but the second he puts it on, I'm like, yes, now we're complete. This is great.
Hell, if it means anything, I like him with and without it. Because he's got the look on his face with the fucking, like, those lips and those red eyes is actually kind of cool.
He looks like if a Power Ranger's lips moved on the mask. I hate it.
Oh my god, you're right.
I hate it. It looks so bad.
It's just the fact that his face is purple. It like Frieza's like porcelain face, like that color palette just seems to work better than like the reverse, which is
Yeah.
what Cooler has.
Oh man.
But they
Sorry,
didn't want him to just be, taller Frieza.
Are you imagining Tommy talking to you with his lips now?
Oh, I mean, how the hell is he supposed to use that dragon flute?
Yeah, exactly. Where's it coming from?
Yeah, even as a kid, I was like, wait a second, how does that work? But yeah, no, I gotta give it. Cooler, his that final form of Cooler is really fucking cool looking, like undeniably.
Like this is the first one. Like, okay, Zarbon, yes, definitely an honorable mention, but this is the first one that I'm like, this one almost fucking made it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I will say, Janemba might have robbed him.
Maybe there's definitely an argument there. I still think, like I said, I think Janemba looks cooler. He's got that sword. He's like
I think Janemba's character idea is better than Frieza's evil brother.
Mhm. Yes.
Like Janemba, at least, yes, is bland as the pure evil incarnate. All of the evil shit just kind of condensed into a thing.
Yeah, he is a proxy Boo, but he's a better proxy Boo than Cooler is a proxy Frieza.
He has a sword.
Mm-hmm. And he has the Lego block like teleportation shit. He
Cooler
punches
has
through dimensions.
Cooler has just the Predator mask, which is very cool. It got him in fighters, as it should. But
Do you know
it's a
people are
cool
saying
ass
that?
look.
Do you know that people want Turles in fighters? That
they're
makes me so
stupid. They're so dumb. I don't know where these people are coming from. All he has is the fucking donut. That's his only move.
I do
And you
love
already
the
got
donut
that.
though.
Would he have like an install with like taking a bite of the Tree of Might fruit or something? I don't know.
No, because the game refuses to give people installs, even though people want installs, and he would probably just take a bite of the fruit and then do a combo.
Yeah,
Probably-
his level 3 would be taking a bite. I would hope that he does the Animal Crossing Final Smash where he plants a fucking tree on you and then it just sprouts up.
Would it not just be like the Gohan thing where his one move just powers him up slightly every time?
I could see that. In
Although
Tenkaichi 3, you know, the better game.
Actually,
I'm
thinking
your
totally
toy
kidding,
box.
by the way. I'm
Your
totally kidding.
It's a very different game. It's a toy box.
Yeah, it is completely different, but I still love that game. Yeah, they had it as just a little power up.
Actually, you know what? What I imagine is if Turles were in the game, he would just take a bite. Like, it would be the intro. Him taking the bite.
It's the only way he could
bulking
stand up to everybody.
Yeah, so that's probably what they would do. And then his level 3 would be, I don't know, probably the combo he does against Goku. Which was sick.
They'd have to make quite a bit of shit up.
Yeah.
Y'all are whack. I'd want Tapion before Turles. Like, fuck that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I don't want Turles at all. I want Tapion or Tapion. I'm not. Which one is it?
Honestly, I feel like this is going to be part of a discussion in a Talkcast pod show coming up, which will probably already be live by the time this goes up. So check check out the DBCember Talkcast pod show for more on this subject.
Although I guess it was okay to bring up Turles because he kind of has a transformation.
Kind of. He bites
He
like.
takes a bite of the fruit, I guess. It's a little buff.
But is that really a transformation? I guess it's a transformation in the same way that the Potara fusion would be a transformation, and that's something I think we'll actually probably get into when we get further in.
Yeah.
Because that's one that like we had a lengthy discussion about should that count.
Yes.
By the way, I feel a little bit bad about this because we're recording today. Broly went up. So, you know, we haven't seen how the public reception to the rest of the list is going. So I'm very curious to see how people respond to some things.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, especially the lack of, you know, a lot of these.
Yeah.
Let's see. After Cooler, God, what are we jumping
I
ahead
know.
to
I'm
here?
trying to think what else was there.
I mean, so there was a fake Super Saiyan in movie 4.
Oh yeah, I talked briefly about fake Super Saiyan. I think in our big discussion.
By the way, do
Yeah.
you know why fake Super Saiyan happened in the first place?
Yeah, I do, but you tell it.
Yeah, so for the audience who doesn't know why fake Super Saiyan even existed, which actually I think we covered that in one of the
I think we talked about
Probably.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was only ever a thing because Toei Animation was like, we want to feature the Super Saiyan thing that you're doing in the upcoming film. And Toriyama was like, okay, well, I think his hair is going to stand up, but I don't know if anything else is going to change. So they were like, okay,
he
well,
hadn't finished the design yet.
Yep. And so it's just Super Saiyan, but with black hair. That's literally all it was.
Which I think is like better because like he's almost there, like he's getting there. It would have been so shitty if he had gotten Super Saiyan in like Slug, and that's your first introduction.
Slug, I know that would have been so dumb.
It would have cheapened it a lot, honestly.
That's
It
why
really
I
is.
do like it though for it being like for some people they might not have seen the Super Saiyan episode if you missed it. Like that rerun didn't happen until way later,
Mhm.
and you could see Slug, and it'd be like people would see like you're seeing Super Saiyan like the transformation happen. You're seeing the fight, you see it, then you see Lord Slug after that, and you're like, oh, this is so cool. It's like he's almost there. He can kind of do it. It's neat. I like what it did for the early fandom, but in retrospect, it's a little lame. I don't think it has too many legs, but I do like it. I had it at my number 20.
I don't even think it made my list because I didn't even really like think about it. Like it's one of those things where it's like it's a partial transformation. So I don't know.
Yeah. So before we get into Cell, let's touch on Android 13 because he technically has a transformation.
Yeah.
It's a transformation of fusion. He was one of the most ridiculous looking characters. I saw the box art. I'm like, that's fake.
He
It
does
looks like a bootleg.
He really
He
does.
looks so bootleg.
Why would you make him blue and gray and orange? Those and none of those.
With the red hair, it's so weird.
He's just blue Blanca.
He is not a great character design.
He
to
looked
be honest,
so much cooler in his like trucker form. Like I don't know why, but
Just that coming out of the trucker hat is something. Talk about character development.
yeah, no, he really did it, and somehow getting like Saiyan hair out of it is. What was he exactly? Like he injected like some like chips into his head and like some
he absorbed the
power cells into his tits, and then he like jacked up.
Yep. Basically they were like, oh right, Cell can do the absorption thing. Let's have him also do it in a different way that makes him look worse. So yeah. That was a thing. Recognized.
We got to see like a few different forms of Cell, like beyond just his like imperfect, semi-perfect, perfect. Like you also got to see him as like a cicada for a bit.
Yeah.
I like Cicada Cell.
Yeah, cicada Cell, easily top tier. I don't know how we missed it.
Excuse me, Fetus Cell?
Oh yeah, Fetus Cell pretty strong.
Yeah, but that wasn't a transformation. Like that was just his original form. He grew. He blossomed.
No, his original form is a cell.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
Cell's got a lot of transformations because basically every time he grows, it's technically a transformation.
But yeah, I think he fell prey to the same thing that we did with Frieza. Where it's just like the last one is just the best. Like
it. I mean, well, the worst part is my favorite Cell is Imperfect Cell, and I
love Imperfect Cell. Yeah, Imperfect Cell's great.
I would agree if that were in fact something that he transformed into. Like form wise, look wise, yes, I 1000% agree.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because we're not going with best forms of characters. So
honestly, like a whole DBCember on our favorite character designs would be a very interesting list at some point. Like which ones are the coolest looking, not just like with no pomp and circumstance. Like go full tight Kubo on this shit.
Yeah, I feel like our best bet there, because at that point, what we considering it's so subjective.
Oh, of course.
If we were to do that, I think we'd actually be better off with each entry being us bringing up our our entry for that level, basically like.
Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah, comparing and contrasting. I think that would work out pretty well.
Until you get like the cross muddlement of like some like, you know, my number 5 is your number 8, etc.
Yeah, we'd have to figure that out.
Yeah, so but that's for the future. Who knows? We'll re-enter this in 2021 when things are better and we have flying cars.
Yeah. Design certainly colored a little bit of these choices.
Oh, absolutely.
I think Janemba's for sure too. Like I'm not gonna pretend that if his design sucked, he would be on there. But it's like but I think to a certain degree though, like I still think Perfect Cell is the pick for that list for sure.
Absolutely.
People have noticed that we kind of have a thing for Janemba. And yeah, I won't lie. I think there's sort of a thing we have for Janemba. Not like
fucking cool.
He's fucking cool.
Yeah, he is.
He's so cool. Fuck you. He has a sword.
Janemba for Smash. More swords. He's fucking awesome. But yeah, like how would you put like if Semi-Perfect Cell were to make it on this list, what would he be like somewhere in the top 15 maybe? Like it is a cool feeling scene when it happens. It is very intimidating, just like oh, he's bigger and buffer and now Android 18 is like completely SOL.
I will say this, if the face weren't so fucking dumb looking.
If he didn't look like a frog.
Yeah, if he didn't have fucking frog face.
Or change his voice.
Well, that's something the dub did, so.
I know. I can't divorce it though. Like that I can't not imagine this. 18.
Yeah, there is a reason that we leaned really hard into that.
No, I'm glad you did for that, because like you can't. I see it with that face. I get it, but it's just like it's just such a downgrade.
If they hadn't given him such a dumb fucking face, that like, because here's the thing: when he transforms into that form, he is really intimidating. He is tall. He is wide. He is a hunter.
But he's goofy looking.
But he's so fucking goofy looking that fucking Kondo was right. He looks like a moron. So I am actually pretty happy that that Toriyama corrected that by almost overcorrecting, because as we've said, Perfect Cell is a handsome bastard.
Yeah, that form, like he does look intimidating, but that whole form, the entire time he's in second form, he spends the entire time getting dunked on by everyone, TN included.
Yeah.
It is true. Like there's only one moment, maybe two moments where he gets to kind of be a boss.
Yeah,
but otherwise
he knocks the shit out of 16 and then like Tien eventually like powers himself out, but that is still that entire time he's just like getting slapped around.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like under good conscience that form could not have made this list.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, poor bye second form cell.
Moving ahead.
After that,
I guess it would be BoJack, who has a sort of weird like
Actually, he does
transformation.
Metal Cooler.
are we really gonna count Metal Cooler?
He was on my list, God damn it! At
The
number
Big Getty,
19.
it's true. The Big Getty Star did allow him to cheat death. How could this be? How did he not make the list?
I
Thanks,
love
you did the
Metal
meme.
Cooler.
Thanks for doing the meme there.
You're welcome.
But yeah, I Metal Cooler. You like Metal Cooler all that much?
I don't know what it is. I
It-
can't tell you.
I'll
Gun
say
to my head,
this.
you'll have to kill me.
I'll say this: he looks cool, but I would not count it as a transformation. The same reason I don't count like Cyborg Frieza as a transformation.
Yeah, I wouldn't count that
in
either.
Budokai 3, it's a transformation, so you know.
That's weird.
Frieza gets picked up by the ship and re-dropped off.
But yeah. So I mean, Metal
It's
Cooler.
also also not even his real body, like as it's revealed in the film. It's just like weird carbon copy clones of him that he's producing himself.
which is
And
really
just,
cool.
Just a little head. Which is
It's
a
cool,
fun,
but
fun little
like,
twist.
I think it kind of disqualifies itself as a transformation.
Oh yeah, I guess
suppose.
it kind of would.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, like if we wanted to revisit like our favorite character designs, that is definitely like, worthy of being listable, but
Favorite character designs is on here with the Frieza family. I'm gonna go with fucking Final Form Cooler from movie 5.
oh yeah, like that's
Oh yes, that
we've discussed that.
yeah,
Yeah.
no question.
But
I just want to mention them in case anybody would wonder.
You and
That's
your
fair.
you and your brethren can have a chat down in like the comments.
Thank you, all 5 of us.
Yeah, you can have a little reply. You can have a little reply circle.
Zetaverse 2 had our back. They acknowledge us.
so I think this is the time where we should bring up Fusion.
Okay, yeah, we'll skip BoJack. No worries.
Well, I mean, again, BoJack,
I don't blame
but-
you. All he does is buff himself out, and his hair
He
gets
just
kind of
hulks
flowered.
out literally, and he turns green. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
And then I guess who is it? Gokua does the same thing.
Yes,
Something
yeah,
like that.
Basically,
So,
their
there you
their
go.
race.
Like they can turn into the Hulk, I guess. I don't know.
What the Hera clan? Didn't Mike go on that big deep dive? Them being called the Hera clan or
I
something?
think they were called the Hera.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's something from Butoda and some weird shit.
Either way, yeah, if we want to talk about fusion now, like the fusion dance, yeah, we said purely that's a technique, we're not going to count it, but the Potaras, I think those did merit some conversation, and it was kind of hard
Yes.
to decide whether Vegito and like Kefla counted.
We did talk about that. I think
Mm-hmm.
like they're all caps, all fusions is here on our honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I can see the merit for Potara being a transformation. And I think just because we mentioned all of the kind of all the fusion stuff last time, it felt a little. We didn't really need to revisit it again here, but it still felt like because we couldn't land on whether this would count as a technique or a transformation, but they're still so good nonetheless. It was just unsure of what to do.
I do think, if we'd been able to plan this out a little bit better, I do think it might have been worth it to replace one of these slots with Potara Fusion. I'll say it. I'll admit it. We're not perfect. I think.
If we were going to count like fusions, like because it's hard to count fusion just in general because so many different fusions had like so many different looks, like and different feels to when they happened. Would you
Mhm.
really only count the Potara fusion like the first time it happened with Vegito as like your impetus for it? When you had so many, like at least what 3 other instances of it?
I would actually say that Potara transformation is its own form of transformation. So therefore, it would count all of the potential transformations that would come from it, including, but not limited to, Vegito and Kefla, and even Goku Black and Zamasu.
Don't forget Kibito Kai.
And in
That's
fact,
the real one.
Yeah,
Yes.
the real first one that completely ruined both character designs. So much that they had to retcon it.
The transformation into Elder Kai was riveting. I really missed the witch character.
That's right.
But
yeah, I think that might have been like the biggest major oversight and like that's kind of like the biggest piece of contention is not like us just deciding not to count Potara.
Man, if Potara was there, that's way up there, dude.
Yeah, it would have been
there.
like top 5 minimum, top 3 probably.
Yeah, I kind of got to agree. The only thing that would probably maybe bring it down a little bit lower for me is that it's not earned. Like one of the things with Fusion, one of the problems with Fusion that we find is that it basically is just, if you can do it, then it suddenly gives you this great big old power up. But then again, the series also just constantly nerfs it. Like, it is
the fact that base Goku could fight Kefla evenly felt weird.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Not only base Goku, but fucking power drained Goku. Like he was using the ultimate fighter of that universe as a warm up. It felt weird. Like Kefla's cool, but that felt weird.
I mean, the only way he was able to beat her was by going Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, but he was also keeping up with her the entire time. Otherwise, remember he was fucked at the beginning of that.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like by the end of it, the only way he was gonna win was with Ultra Instinct, and not like Super Saiyan Blue. So I'm not too bothered by it.
Yeah,
I think if Fusion was our number 2 technique, Potara would be my number 2 transformation.
You know what? That's fair. I'm gonna that's the addendum to the list. Join us in 2024 where we do our top 12 DBCember changes to DBCember we'd make, corrections to past DBCembers.
You're right, Super Saiyan 4 should have been number 1. Thanks, guys.
By the way, since this will be out by then, I hope everybody really enjoyed Kieran ranting for 12 minutes.
Thank you for giving me the pedestal.
You are absolutely welcome, and thank you for
well deserved, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, Potara probably like the biggest oversight. Like if we had decided to count it, it would have been high on the list.
Yeah. So,
but the dance is a technique.
I'm standing by that. They call it a fucking technique.
After that,
after that, I guess would be Ultimate Gohan.
Oh
wait, no,
yeah,
no. There's one. There's one we're skipping that was on my list.
Yeah,
it was on my list and Kieran's list as well.
Yeah.
Majin Vegeta.
Yeah, Majin Vegeta. Way up there.
Fuck both of you.
Just Majin in general, but Majin Vegeta specifically is what makes it good.
Oh,
man. You ended up nixing it off the list because all it did was paint an M on his forehead and basically give him Super Saiyan 2. But
well, to be fair, I actually went to the people and asked, "Hey, is this a transformation or not?" And
yeah, no, that's right.
That's right. We polled people and they were wrong.
Yeah, you had it at 5. I had it at 4. Like
it was up there.
It's so good. I love Majin Vegeta.
It's one of his best looks.
I do not understand. I just don't.
You're not a dubby, so you don't get it.
You don't.
Like I'm not even kidding. Like I'm not even being facetious.
I'd like to point out that the first time I watched the Buu Saga was in the dub.
Yeah, but you were already brainwashed. You can't take
it
your back.
Although this was also at that period of time where they were really improving across the board, where Piccolo no longer sounded like a fucking idiot, and the music was probably at its best. So I will say that when I was watching, it was actually a rather pleasant experience all over. But yeah, I won't lie. There's one thing a Saiyan always keeps, his pride. That may not exactly be to the original script, but I don't care.
Oh, but it's the better line.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best scenes in Dragon Ball Z. Just given how like powerful that scene is.
His final explosion, just everything around that form, like is peak Vegeta.
Yeah, but to me, all it was just kind of like Vegeta gone evil again. It never really felt like, oh, this is Majin Vegeta. It's just Vegeta being a dick.
But that like calls back to what made Vegeta so good when he first showed up. Like that's what worked so well about it. It's like he was kind of having some progression, and it's like the whole thing of like, oh, has the Prince of all Saiyans gone soft? It's such a cool narrative moment. Like, I love what it does.
When you think about it from the angle that Dragon Ball Z is Gohan and Vegeta's story and not Goku's, it makes a lot more sense, because Vegeta and Gohan are the only ones with real character arcs.
I mean, God, if you look at Dragon Ball Z, the only fight in all of Dragon Ball Z that Goku really needs, and like narratively should be there, is his fight against Vegeta. Frieza, I mean, sure, he's fighting to save, to avenge the Saiyan race.
He's the hero, so.
But he's fighting to avenge the Saiyan race. But why? He doesn't even like
Vegeta's hook.
Literally, that's all Vegeta's. That's if Goku never showed up on Namek and it had just been a showdown with Frieza and Vegeta, that would have been narratively like more potent. Like, again, that is not Goku's fight. When he shows up there to fight Frieza, it's like, okay, you showed up after everything else happened that was important, but go on, fight the main villain, because that's what you do.
He's there to be the hero, and, it works. They give him motivation where it's like, okay, we need to get out of here because we're trying to save our friends, and this guy's trying to kill everybody, so somebody's got to stop him. It makes sense narratively there, but yes, Vegeta does have a lot more at stake when it comes to fighting Frieza.
Which is why I'm so sad that they ending
never give him his win.
Yeah, like Res F was setting
F. Oh my god!
Oh,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will get to that. But yeah, and then Cell happens where, okay, Red Ribbon Army, revenge against Goku, but then it becomes Gohan's story, and they kind of set that up, and then after that, Goku has no reason to be there. Like,
not really. Like, he could have stayed dead.
Except to fight Vegeta.
Yeah.
Which
to give Vegeta the closure on his midlife crisis storyline.
Yeah, which like I like. If anything, I like Goku being there for that. Like I could see the Buu arc without Goku being there, and you could have had a fun thing with Gohan fighting Vegeta. Sure, it could have been good, but like
no, it needed to be
fighting him. Well,
and that's why I think narratively this is a very important transformation.
Yeah,
I would agree. I would agree a little bit more with you if that fight were legitimately better. It's got some good parts.
Great. It's a fun fight, man.
Man, I don't know. Their first fight was way better. Like, over.
Yeah, but still. Like, but I agree the first fight's better. That's fine.
That's why it kills me, though. Because that first fight is so good. Now they're stronger, more experienced. There's more emotional weight, and their fight's worse. And that's the thing that I can't get past.
We get that beautiful Vegeta slap, slap, slap.
The slap's good. The slap's
great.
The slap is good, and then the punch with the boulders also very good. Again, there's some good moments that it's not like the whole fight is nothing but bad. I'm just saying I wish it'd been better, because then I might agree that Majin Vegeta is really cool. It's just the only chance he gets to shine is when he blows up the arena and has that fucking smile, which will haunt my dreams.
That's so good.
It is so fucking good. And then a lackluster fight, and then he blows himself up.
No. You don't get to just throw that under the rug. Like that's a huge moment. Then like this is all. It only matters because of the Majin transformation beforehand. What if Vegeta didn't revert to evil for a second and then blew himself up? You'd be like, what the fuck was that? But
I mean, you're not necessarily
all while playing Babidi the whole time. Like Bobby's like, okay, do this now. Fuck you. You fucking what?
Fucking King of Demons? Sure, you can control him.
Deborah was fucking whipped by Babidi, but he's like, fuck you.
What's a king to a prince, motherfucker?
Just a line of succession.
But yeah, no, I will admit, because of Majin Vegeta, that sacrifice actually matters. And that moment is really good. Although I am still personally of the opinion that that moment is undercut.
I think, legitimately, to me, it was the poll that you made asking the people that kept it from being on the list. Like, that is where I sit on this one, because narratively, it means a lot to Vegeta, like, that transformation. It means way more than Super Saiyan 3 did. It might not look as, it might not cut the same silhouette, but it definitely meant more narratively.
Oh,
without Majin, his, admittance of Goku besting him at the end of Buu kind of doesn't mean as much to me.
Yeah. I mean, Look, I'm not saying that Majin doesn't matter. I'm just saying as a transformation, Like,
Yeah,
I
well.
like what it does. I like it as a story. Okay, how about this? I don't love it as a transformation. I really like it as a story element.
I don't think you can divorce the two because it
I
makes
don't
them
think
evil.
so either.
Like
But
it brings
it's-
out the evil in them. That's the transformation.
But like we said, the reason it's not on the list is because of that poll. So I don't know how much more we could actually address this because we're not going to change your mind.
I
But
know
it's a
we're
nice
not-
debate.
We,
Like,
we
I-
didn't.
It's good.
We didn't change your mind before either on the video that's or the audio file or video that's on Patreon either.
I figured it
Yeah.
out. You weren't into wrestling. That's why.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, you know what? You're right. The heel turns for me don't mean as much.
Okay, so Beyond Majin Vegeta, Beyond Fusion.
I think so. We actually kind of flirted with it a little bit, but we actually said that Kid Boo's transformation. We were kind of like hesitant on whether or not we counted Kid Buu as a transformation.
Yeah, because it's kind of like it's less a transformation, even though it's the first time we're seeing the form, and more of a reversion, which
Yeah,
which in itself is a transformation. But
You could be like I always saw the frame that all of the things he was absorbing are now out of him, and this is that is the consequence of absorbing.
even though it
nobody.
makes absolutely no sense,
makes
because
no
like
sense.
when you pull the fat Boo out of him, he should have turned into like chewed up dried gum Boo.
Sorry, actually, I remember what I was gonna say was the reason we were a little bit hesitant about whether or not it made the list is because we were counting specifically the transformations of him absorbing people.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
that's how
that was the way we kind of worked around that.
Yeah, so that's the reason that we were able to count multiple of Boo's transformations, because that transformation, much like as I was mentioning earlier with Potara, is a form, a function of transformation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Kid Buu may not have counted in that, although we've talked about him more than enough.
Yeah, he's my favorite form of Boo. It looks cool, but admittedly, the transformation sequence itself is weird in a few ways. Like in terms of scale, you don't even realize that he's kid size until you get a shot like way later into the transformation. He looks like he's actually growing in some spaces, and it's a really weird transformation because he just looks like Super Boo throughout, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, he's short. Huh.
You also don't know that how they're very unclear with how strong he is.
Mhm.
Yes.
Which I think work. I think that serves like that form. Like that's good.
Like he
Yeah,
doesn't
you know
he
what?
doesn't limit himself. Not that I think Boo ever really limited himself in his super form. But I mean, the reason it's my favorite form of Boo is he uses all of his weird abilities without any limitations, without any moral or mortal cognitization of it. He blows himself up, reforms himself, is like, okay, I'll just float in space and go onto this planet now.
Yeah.
And like he turns himself into a wrecking ball. He literally just uses his body to full effect in that form. Whereas when he's Super Boo and when he's absorbing people, he's thinking like he has a skeleton.
Sometimes, yeah.
A lot of times.
But yeah, there's Kid Buu, especially in the anime. I actually made a Twitter thread about this where, well, just a post, but about how the animators obviously really liked animating for Buu.
Mm-hmm.
And Kid Buu gets a lot of amazing, like, oh my god, they're going crazy with him. The way he twists his body and moves, and it's so much fun. There's so much character acting.
Stomping his foot into the ground, mashing triangle.
Dude, that
goddamn.
Yeah, Kid Buu.
Yeah.
Kid Buu's a lot of fun.
Kid Buu was solid. Didn't quite make the list, but we kind of grandfathered him in with the Buu absorption conversation at least.
Yeah.
So beyond Kid Buu, I think we're heading into super territory now, I guess.
Yeah, there's nowhere else to go.
Well, GT, but I think we covered the one.
That would
in
be
GT.
after Super.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, technically, if we're going chronologically.
I thought we were talking chronologically in terms of like when, like release order, but
Fair enough, but
so yeah, moving on to Super, the first one that really doesn't make the list, Blue.
Oh, there are going to be a lot of people. So I've already seen the response from people early on making their predictions about whether or not Blue's
People
gonna make the
thinking it was
list
going to
and where.
make top 5 and
Some people
No.
thinking it's not going to make the list at all because they might have paid attention to the way that we've talked about it in the past.
it's so boring. And like going back to Resurrection F, which is such a movie, it paid the cardinal sin. Like it made the cardinal sin of being super duper unearned, and we never get to see them actually achieve the form.
And the fucking show had the chance. It's like, oh hey, they've decided to turn this movie into an arc. Maybe some of the stuff that was really bad or missing from the movie will be here. And to be fair, there are some parts of the show that are legitimately better than the way the movie did them.
Like
They're
dropping
also,
Captain Ginyu back in there and doing some fun shit with that.
I mean, I feel like that would have been better if they'd done it better. I mean, they did
but,
do
you
it,
know.
but it was meh. But I was gonna say, actually, my favorite part of the Super anime versus the movie, Frieza torturing Gohan. I'm sorry. The worst thing that movie did to Frieza was make him just kind of softer and
Bored.
less intimidating.
Yeah.
Like my favorite part of Frieza is his overwhelming power and sadism. I like him being this maliciously evil, terrifying
But
bastard.
But we're here to discuss forms.
Yeah.
And,
Sorry.
And like the biggest problem with Blue is like, yeah, it's super unearned. It could have been amended so easily. Imagine if both Goku and Vegeta, like, you know, maybe Vegeta learns it off screen, but they can harness the God Key. Like that's what they've been training to do. And
Oh
they show
god
up and,
damn
like,
it!
Right? What?
No, we forgot Ultimate Gohan.
Oh, we did forget Ultimate Gohan.
What do you say?
Okay, look, I want to
It's-
say this about Ultimate Gohan. Ultimate Gohan looks really cool, and the entire idea behind him, like
I
you
like
don't no longer need to go
I like his Superman cowlick.
Yeah, you no
Yeah, I like it
longer
a
need
lot.
to go. You no longer need to go Super Saiyan. You just got the black hair. You got your father's gi. You look really cool. Story wastes him. I'm sorry.
It does,
Everybody
and they forget about what made that transformation. Like he starts going Super Saiyan again in Super, and it's like, oh yeah, I can't achieve that form anymore. But the point of it was that you're just unlimited. You're always in that form.
They literally treat it as something that he has to work back up to in Super, which is weird, and I do not understand how the fuck that works, but that's how they treat it. He has to work back up to it in Super, and I'm sorry.
It also fundamentally works against like what Dragon Ball is, like in like its entire mentality, because the idea of it is, there you go, your potential is unlocked. That's it. This is what you get.
Any barrier you might have is now gone. I don't know how power scaling works anymore. Here you go.
That's
They also
it.
did that-
You are as strong as you can possibly get.
It's also the second time they do it.
Yeah.
Like, they do it with Guru, and then they do it again with old Kai.
Which I guess we're led to believe Guru couldn't quite get like to the depths of his power, whereas with
Maybe
Krillin, it's like, there you go, that's all you got.
maybe his power is only so much because he's what, like 6, 7? Like he's very
Maybe it's like your computer cache. Like every once in a while, you have to like clear it out.
Well, it's like
So-
back in the day, 200 megabytes was the biggest hard drive ever.
Yeah,
Now
that was
we're
just a cheap power up. We need to scale you up instantly in order to deal with what we're throwing at you right now. So here you go.
Yeah, for everybody, I remember there have been some people who got really pissed off that at the end of I think it was Kai 2 or Kai 3.5. We mentioned that Gohan hits his peak. Yeah. I'm sorry, he gets stronger after that, but the story never treats him as well.
Yeah,
and
emotionally-
Ultimate Gohan,
Yeah, and emotionally and narratively, he peaked.
yeah, Ultimate Gohan is again, he looks cool and he acts cool. Like when he shows up, he is, oh my god, it's one of the most badass scenes Gohan ever has.
he has a great 10 minutes, that's for sure.
But the entire arc treats Gohan like shit. Because it starts out with the story focused on him, then he loses that focus, then through a cheap, unearned power-up, comes back in, and then immediately loses it.
Gets discarded.
He gets one good fight where he gets to curb stomp Boo, and then after that, it's over. It's over for Gohan. Which okay, look, if Gohan just wants to like go back to being a fucking bookworm and have a happy family, that's okay.
That's fine. Live
Like,
your best life.
Yeah, live the life you want to live. No one's gonna be mad if you decide that you want to choose the life of a family man. Okay, except for some Dragon Ball fans who are like, no, he should always be strong and he should always be fighting.
Which,
I mean,
honestly, I'll give Super a lot of flack for a lot of things, but at the very least, when they're focusing on Goku, they're actually giving him some arcs. Like, they're actually doing something with him.
yeah.
It might not be a lot, but they're doing something.
I'm only mad when he goes Super Saiyan after having it.
Yes.
That was the whole point of this. The
Which
whole
leads us back.
idea.
Which leads us back to Resurrection F.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
Because, and just to wrap back around to what I was saying before, just imagine if that entire time Goku and Vegeta had been training to, attain Super Saiyan God and just like be able to hold that form. And now you had Frieza, who's trained for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and now he's like really super fucking strong. And Vegeta and Goku show back up down there, and they're on par with him when he's in his like normal final form.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes golden, and it's like, what the fuck? We can't deal with this. We can't. How did this happen? He's stronger than us with our God form, and they have to earn blue from that. That's easy fix. Done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have been fantastic. Suddenly, Golden Freeze is an actual challenge, and then we have to unlock this new form. Maybe that's when Vegeta gets the kill, but it just drops everything.
And undo Whis' time warp bullshit. Just Jesus.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But just the blue. So in Super, blue is treated as new Super Saiyan.
Yeah, that's all it is.
But unlike Super Saiyan, which is very good, in case you can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you're watching this video, it has no narrative weight and just becomes the new highlight color to signify that now we're fighting at this level and it's just gonna happen now.
Which, I mean, it's
now
a cool shade of blue, but
it is a cool shade of blue.
Depending, actually.
Yes,
pending.
you're right. Yeah, depending on who's coloring that day. Oh man,
it looks good with Goku's gi, and it looks all right with Vegeta's shit. But you're right. It's just new Super Saiyan, and that's all they treat it as.
And not in the good way. It never has its moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
where Super Saiyan is built up throughout the whole beginning of Dragon Ball Z. Like that's the whole beginning of that leads up to Super Saiyan. Like throughout its introduction, you get that idea.
And then you have that whole issue with it, like being named so ridiculously stupid at the beginning. Like,
oh my god,
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
And that never stuck in English. And then Super Saiyan Blue, okay, yeah, that's basically what it is. And you're really lampshading it now.
Yeah, because they probably would have, like, you probably wouldn't see SSGSS anymore if it weren't for the fact that all the toys and all the merch adopted that name, so they have to stick to it.
And
because
all the
Super Saiyan,
and Xenoverse too. Like it's everywhere. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan God Blue.
Yeah, Super Saiyan Blue is the name that they use in the show, but Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan is the name they have to use for all the merch.
They even lampshade it in the show. It's like I can't even say it that much. I bit my tongue.
Actually, that was in the manga where where they bite their tongue, and I wish that had made it into the anime.
That's a
that's
good
great.
touch. They know. I like that.
It was a really good joke, and I'm really glad that again, it's nice to lampshade it, but they are two really dumb names.
They are.
Yeah, I do not like blue. I know there are people out there who like blue for one reason or another, and I know that that blue specifically is supposed to actually have a like in this is how it gets blue Kaioken. It's supposed to calm you. You're supposed to have calmness.
It has a difference, but then it's Super Saiyan without a fucking like drawback.
Well, I mean, to be fair, by the time the Cell Saga ended, Super Saiyan, they could do Super Saiyan well, just like.
But he couldn't do
sleeping.
Kaioken while in Super Saiyan until he was dead.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, the whole this calms your heart thing. Okay, does that ever come up in any other way than Kaioken? Like,
not really,
I don't think
because I mean, you're right by the fact that like they seem completely cognizant and natural when they're fighting as Super Saiyans. That, I mean, in theory, maybe that's just progression, and the fact that they're able to do that means they could attain blue easier. making it easier for Goku to attain Ultra Instinct later on just by that level of serenity. But, you know, you could argue that is some form of progression. That's me playing devil's advocate here. I in no way necessarily believe in this argument. But that is a way to look at it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like blue. I don't like the idea. Like, I don't mind the idea of blue, but I really don't like how it's implemented. I really don't like the fact that it basically replaces Super Saiyan. And I also don't like the fact that we don't see God again for forever. Although, then again, as I mentioned before, God's aura is the maybe the second worst, if not the worst aura in the entirety of Dragon Ball. So, you know, maybe not that big of a loss.
For the longest time, after they introduced Blue, I thought God was still stronger than it because, well, clearly they can achieve this so much easier than they could the other thing. So that other one must be stronger. So maybe they're working their way back to getting it, and then it turned out to be the other way around. It's like, oh, never mind then.
Let's not talk about the manga, where it's a way more complicated scenario. I think in the manga, technically, God is supposed to be stronger. Maybe? Who knows? It is. I have to read. I'm actually going to be doing
either way, I think God is a cooler looking form. You actually get to see him achieve it, as unearned as it might be, just being as a plot device ritual. But it looks cool because it, like, slims them down. Vegeta wears it incredibly well in the Broly movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, meanwhile, on the other side of this coin, in this exact same scenario, you have Golden Frieza, which didn't make the list.
Golden Frieza.
Which, pretty much the same exact reason.
I was going to say, it's exactly the same reason.
Unearned, really anticlimactic, because the instant he takes that form, he's already getting his shit stomped. So it did next to nothing for him, because it's sad. Because Blue wasn't earned, it completely diminished Golden Frieza. Like, slapped it right in its shit.
As I said in the countdown, it is more acceptable when a villain has a transformation that is not earned. Because villains
that raises the stakes.
Yeah, villains are an antagonistic force. If they're just like, oh, but did you know I have one more transformation? That's terrifying, because it's like, oh no, now what? It's like when Toguro goes beyond 100%. It's like, what the fuck? He can turn into a tree? Yeah. Villains giving the heroes, who, you know, the story centers around, another fucking obstacle to overcome and room to grow. Good. But when you have, Blue not being earned made Gold just like, well, who fucking cares?
Who cares? Like, who cares what this is? Like, all they are just new colors to throw on toys, like, and for real.
And I do like the gold and purple, like, Lakers color scheme. But,
I do love it. The color scheme's great.
Yeah. But it's just, like, because it's unearned, it's wasted. And, like, the first time you see it, it's not even the best time it's revealed. Imagine if the first time Golden Frieza was revealed was when he came back for the Tournament of Power, and you got that fucking Lion King, like, godly power of him, like, it looks like the sun's rising on Baba's palace as he's about to fuck the ever-loving shit out of these, like, assassins that showed up.
That scene is one of the best in all of Dragon Ball Super.
It is.
I remember you argued a ton in favor of the form, like, because of that scene specifically.
That scene is so, like, even describing it, like, I got goosebumps, man. It's such a cool scene.
It makes me very angry that Resurrection F even happened. Because in that scene where he comes back and he slaughters all those dudes, that is Frieza, okay? There. You want Frieza at his fullest? A guy who doesn't need to kill all those guys does it anyway in a horrifying, awesome manner. Dude, oh god, when he fucking blows that guy's head up, it's just such a great scene. It's animated perfectly. The music, the emotion, the fact that it takes place at night, which we don't get a lot of night fights in Dragon Ball.
Which is why it's even cooler when he does the power up and it looks like it's fucking dawn. It's
Yeah, no, I gotta give it to it. It's also, like, at that point, he's not really a villain. He's more of an anti-hero or...
Anti-villain, I'd go with.
Yeah, he's like Namek Saga Vegeta.
He's not a proper antagonist at that point.
Yeah, no, he's no longer he's no longer an antagonist. He's puckish at that point. Like, they can deal with him whenever they see fit, and he fucking knows it. He's still evil, but he also can't do anything about it.
Yeah, he's still a villain. Yeah, but he's not an antagonistic force. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when he comes back, like it also, I hate to say it, yeah, the color scheme is good. Like it's a good color scheme. It's also lazy as fuck.
It also gives him purple face.
Yes.
But yeah, for the same exact reason that, like, or actually because of blue, gold can't make the list.
Yeah. Man. Blue, you suck. Get out of here.
It
For real.
sucks, man. Sorry, not sorry, super fans. That shit
Yeah,
sucks.
I
Everyone's
am actually
entitled to their opinion. Us old ass millennials here are just
sorry the
Boomer
Wea
millennials.
boomers don't like your new transformation.
Back in my day, shit was earned. God damn it, Goku had to walk uphill both ways to get that shit.
Let's see, what is the next transformation in Super though? Because there really aren't a whole lot beyond that.
Is it Rose?
Yeah.
I guess it's Rose, but is that one?
I like. Okay, so I actually
it looks
really
cool.
like the way,
Like the color looks cool, but it's just like,
Oh, it looks cool. That's
How
about
did he
it.
do that? Oh yeah, like this. Poof.
Yeah, basically, literally, all it is just his version of Super Saiyan Blue, because of the way his aura works and everything.
Like he already had God Key, so
Yeah.
it's just him going Super Saiyan.
Yeah, I really appreciated the little art that Bracky did for Super Saiyan God Black. A lot of people have done that, by the way. A lot of people have made that art,
Just giving him the Uchiha eyes.
Yeah. But I really like Rose. Rose was actually on my list just because I love the way that it looks. I love the way that like Goku Black acts when he's in that form. Like, cause he does change it up a little bit. He becomes a little bit more fey and I don't know.
I will never forget that in Xenoverse he goes from yeah, and then he just adopts a British accent out of nowhere.
Yeah, full on British too. To be fair, in Super Proper, he does like, and in Fighters, he sounds more like he's trying to channel James Marsters rather than just going full on British.
Which is that's the way it should have been, but it's
Yeah.
just weird that he tone shifts immediately because they're releasing this stuff week to week and you don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know what the deal is with this, so it's like yeah, I'm evil Goku, I'm evil. Oh wait, no, I'm a god, haha.
Well,
Aha.
and I don't think they knew. Well, obviously they didn't know what Goku Black was supposed to be when they started dubbing him for Xenoverse 2.
Oh,
So they're like,
absolutely not.
Yeah, so they're like, he's evil Goku, and so Shenron was like, okay, evil Goku, I'm down here now. It's like
This is by no means either the director or the actor's fault that happened.
Yeah, no, let it be known that we're not calling anybody out if they didn't know.
But it's funny that it did happen.
Although I will say this, listen to the Japanese version and try to go with that, because it's not like Nozawa was doing like, I'm Goku. It's just playing Goku but evil. It wasn't.
I like how calm Nozawa does it. That's like I like that take on it.
Oh yeah, no, like Nozawa and Goku Black is like the perfected version of her Turles voice. It's so good.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nozawa already has practice at playing evil Goku.
Yeah, and it's really good. In fact, a lot of people. So I think Goku Black, if I can go on just a small tangent, one more out of the millions I've already done.
You're allowed.
I do think Nozawa actually, as Goku Black, I think Goku Black actually gave the American audience an opportunity to truly appreciate what Nozawa can do. Because I think for a lot of fans, they grew up with the dub, and it was only when Super started coming out that they actually actively had to watch in Japanese. They couldn't get these. It was no longer, I'm watching this on Toonami before the DVDs come out. And
Nobody wanted to wait like a couple of weeks for it to go on to Funimation Now, which I think way fewer people have than Crunchyroll.
The dub for Dragon Ball Super didn't come out for a year.
Oh dear lord, that's right.
Yeah. So everyone had to watch it in Japanese. And I think that, while they may not have loved Goku, once Black came around, I think everyone finally got an appreciation that, oh no, Nozawa's not only a really good actress, she's multifaceted, and for a lot of people, that is Goku Black for them now, which I find fascinating. It just kind of goes to show you, like, yeah, you'll always have your own preference, but a lot of that is always going to be kind of determined with what you grew up with what you started with first.
Her paycheck must have been nuts for fighters.
Nozawa is a rich lady. But yeah, I love Super Saiyan Rose. I like the way it looks. I like the power. Like it is so stupid, but I love that scythe. I don't care.
The scythe is great.
No, this okay, all right.
Like I love a weapon
Absolutely.
accessory.
The scythe is great.
Especially-
The energy blade,
Especially
that
a
whole thing.
non-conventional one.
Yeah, that is really fun. Like we hadn't seen an energy blade since Salza. Like that's really cool. I'm a big fan of that.
And I love how it's whipped out against Vegeta. It is such a great moment where you see it stabbed through him. It's like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
I just don't think Rose could have Rose. I think it was in my list, but already as an honorable mention.
Yeah, and that's fair. I had no argument for it to be in the top 12. It's just one of my favorite.
It's worth
forms.
mentioning.
It has a fun look. I'm not gonna pretend it doesn't have a fun look. I like the pink. The pink and black is a great combo. I love the scythe. Like great fighting game character. Great fighting game character.
Right.
But
It's the
as
same
a story thing. It's like eh.
It's this. Yeah, it's the same thing I'll say about the Black Arc in general. Great idea. Execution.
Yeah.
Yup. Now the next one. Oh, the next one. I hate the next one. I absolutely despise the next one.
Monstrosity Zamas.
Nope. Actually,
That's part of Potara. That's right.
Yeah. Fucking Fuse Zamas I actually like. Even if he is just a fucking discount bleach villain, I still actually really enjoy him.
Is okay. It's fine.
I was gonna say Super Saiyan Ikari or Super
What?
Saiyan.
Oh,
Rage.
I
Trunks'
forgot that
thing.
happened.
That's right.
I purged that from my mind.
That thing where
Yeah.
what was the deal behind that? Like
No one knows.
did he because I thought it was he absorbed the spirit of
No,
That was
energy
late.
of people.
That was
No,
after.
no,
like
that was-
that's-
he just
that's
kind of
the
stands up
sword.
and does this, right?
Yeah, this is after he just gets mad. He just gets angry.
He angry.
He gets angry and he powers up, and the power up sequence is cool.
Yeah,
it's a really cool sequence.
He gets that cool outline around him, but yeah, this I barely even feel like it's worth mentioning here.
But I do want to mention it because this is a dishonorable mention. It is
Okay.
shit. I hate it. I hate it so much because it is unearned. It is unexplained. It is another in the long line of stupid decisions made during the Goku Black saga.
and it leads nowhere.
It leads nowhere. And the episode that follows the actual transformation is one of the worst animated in that entire arc. It is.
God, you're right. Yeah.
It is so
I don't know if
bad.
it's that. I don't know if that's the transformation's fault, but
No,
I mean-
it is. You don't get it, Nick.
Sorry, but I will say the Virgin Voyage, is it called? The Maiden Voyage, sorry.
Yeah,
The
Maiden
Maiden Voyage of a transformation absolutely fucking counts towards that transformation. And its Maiden Voyage sunk immediately after it left the fucking dock. It looks awful. Its explanation is awful. I hate Super Saiyan Rage. It can go fucking die.
I'm not gonna say that every transformation needs an explanation. Back before we even knew what Super Saiyan 2 was called,
they did call it Super Saiyan Rage, colloquially.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that
in
is
Legacy
the
of
reason.
Goku 2. I think that's what it's labeled. Even
I think you're right. Yeah, but still, I agree with every other thing.
Yeah.
it just happens out of nowhere. I mean, you could say out of nowhere. Yes, Trunks has gotten pissed and shat on this whole arc, so it makes sense for him to kind of do something. But it's just really, that's the moment this happens.
Right.
Not when your
mine
mom dies,
supposedly-
not when
yeah.
any other thing happens.
he has so much cool stuff going on. He learns how to channel fucking his beefy mode, switching between them and
Yeah,
shit.
that's
It's really cool. Switching from his Lithe mode to getting stronger right before the attack, and then finally learning how to channel Super Saiyan 2. He had a lot of cool stuff going, but yeah, that whole arc suffered from poor execution and pacing.
The way Trunks is handled in the manga. Actually, I'm going to say it outright. The Goku Black arc in the manga, up until the very end, the last stretch of it is probably better in the anime. But
Oof.
the actual the arc up until I'd say Vegeta's introduced is better in the manga. Because fucking Trunks gets to be an actual Kai in training. And he has
I
powers
like
that come
that a
with it,
lot.
and there's all stuff there. Oh man, it's actually really good, guys. If you haven't read the Super manga, read the Super manga. It's got I like to combine the best parts of both into my head to make a better Super.
Weave them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should read it too.
Oh.
Okay, so after the Black arc, we basically got nothing until the Tournament of Power with Ribrienne, right?
I will say I like merge Zamas. Like if we're gonna
Yeah, but
if we're gonna mention the power
we
fusions-
talked about that with Potara, I think.
Yeah, I know. I just want to mention it real quick because I know a lot of people probably would have loved to have seen him on the list. I like his design enough. I think maybe the Super Saiyan white hair was a little much. I
Yeah,
think it kind of, but
I personally like it. I think it fits him.
yeah,
I'm purely meh on it.
yeah. He was cool. He was a somewhat decent villain until like the whole growing into a monster thing. I think that actually
Yes.
kind of I think that hurt him.
Totally fine with him until then. Totally
Yeah.
fine with all of it if the last episode didn't happen.
Agreed. That was a bad move on their part, in my opinion.
It got erased from the timeline.
It did.
Thank God.
Thank both gods.
Yeah.
Worst ending to any Dragon Ball arc ever. Yay!
Yeah. In like the next thing would be Tournament of Power, which we got like Ribrienne and her whole crew. Which
Yeah, those are totally transformations.
they existed, and I did not care.
I like Ribrienne, and I'll stick.
I think
liking
they're
Ribrienne.
fine characters, but I don't think I'd ever consciously put them on a top X transformation list
It
of
seems
Dragon
like
Ball.
it's just the Zarbon thing again.
But
Like,
in
that's-
reverse.
Yeah,
It's, hey, let's take this pretty girl and make her look a little goofy.
I honestly, and fucking people can string me up. Wanted Ribrienne in Fighters.
you are the problem.
I
You need to
know.
Get out of here.
I know.
You're over here shitting on Turles fans. Get out of here.
So
At
yeah,
least
like
Ribrienne's her own character.
I like
guess.
I like the idea that they had in the Tournament of Power, where it's like, okay, we're gonna like bring in a couple of different anime tropes to see how they stack up. Like, you know, like they were the magical girls, and then you had the mecha, and
Yeah, I like
the,
that
the
idea. That was fun.
Sentai, and
Mhm.
like it was neat. Just
Yeah.
like
Fun
everything
idea.
executed a little oddly. I guess the mechs had a bit of a transformation when they combined into the giant Doctor Mech.
Somebody, I think it was totally not Mark who might have talked about this. Maybe, I'm not 100% certain. Who talked about how Dragon Ball Super is a love letter to Dragon Ball. It is just basically because it has a lot of its greatest hits all throughout, and it has a lot of great moments. And yeah, I can see that, even if I don't love the Tournament of Power, although it does have some of the best parts of Super in it. Like, can't deny it.
Some pretty deep valleys, but some pretty high peaks.
Yeah, we've talked about that at length now. But I don't know. I like Ribrienne. And the transformation. And there are actually a couple of transformations all throughout.
I feel like there are only like really 2 transformations that aren't covered in our list already that are worth talking about in the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
One is Toppo going God of Destruction, or Top, I guess is his name. And
yeah, the English version. I would have gone with Toppo, but Top is technically correct.
Yeah, Top going God of Destruction. He gets a nice big bristly mustache and he buffs out a lot. He looks cool and he's intimidating.
I will say I love that idea, and I even like the way that it's executed for the most part.
He's like channeling the destructive ki.
Yeah, unfortunately, the story deals with him in the worst fucking possible way. I hate it. I hate it to death.
Yeah, I love the idea of it, the execution of it for the most part. I'm on the same wavelength. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, seeing somebody who's like a pseudo God of Destruction. It's a cool idea. Cool
because
concept.
they kind of and it's like it's not like this is unexpected, which I like. It doesn't come out of nowhere. They talk about how gods of destruction like have like you can kind of learn how to be a successor to them. So it makes sense.
Yeah, they aren't like the Kais.
That reminds me, one part that they cut out of the manga, which I really wish had been in the anime. Goku tries to use Hakai on Zamas.
Oh, yeah! That would have been cool.
Yeah, so that is a technique you can learn, and I really like. And as we see, Toppo or Top like actually uses that in the tournament, which is really cool to watch. And I think it's actually pretty cool. Because I think at one point he's like, if I kill you, fine, that'll disqualify me, but then you'll be out. So he just goes on a rampage like...
Yeah,
but you'll be gone.
Yeah, essentially it's like, I forsake justice to save my universe. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah,
dude.
development there.
Yeah, it's cool.
Man, I
like it.
sure wish Toppo would have been the main antagonist of that arc.
Would have been way.
Yeah, can you
cooler,
imagine that? Because
frankly.
it would have been thematically even. Like, even if you just, like, gave that whole God of Destruction and Training thing to Jiren, that would have been fucking cool, because then you have that whole cycle of, you know, Goku, like, trying to go on this journey because he wants to beat Beerus, and finally having to face off against somebody that has the power kind of relatively equivalent to Beerus.
Yeah. He's doing that thing that you're wanting to do, and he's way farther ahead than you.
Yeah.
But no, you get Jiren.
Anyway, yeah, so that transformation is really cool, and I like it.
In that exact, or I guess not that exact same thing, but kind of in that relative area of episodes, you get Vegeta going Super Saiyan Royal Blue, and that's like the only other one.
Its color is great.
Way better.
I love how he's basically Super Vegeta. Like for a, you know, if Blue is our Super Saiyan, this is our Super Vegeta, which is my favorite form of Vegeta, I think, period.
But
It's
Super
like,
Vegeta
but
when
what
he's fighting...
is it though?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't tell you, but I also can't tell you what Trunks' buff form is either. So it's like,
and that's what really holds it back. It's like, now I'm bluer.
yeah.
Just to make sure, Super Vegeta is when he's fighting Semi-Perfect Cell, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Yes, then I agree. I fucking hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much that every time I see it, it makes me angry.
You don't need to hate it too much. It's already not on the list. It's learned its lesson.
It feels very bad.
Very little no explanation. It's like if they had literally just called it like, oh, he's basically done Super Saiyan 2, but with Super Saiyan Blue, I might have been less angry. But they try and make it this thing like, oh, it's this whole new transformation. It's like, oh God, why?
Like, they try to explain it in the show, and I my eyes glazed over.
Yeah, partially because it does not feel earned. It looks ugly as sin.
I disagree. I disagree with it looking ugly.
I think it looks better than Blue.
Okay. Correction. The way they draw Vegeta looks ugly as sin. Specifically because he has these really blocky muscles. Like, I don't know if you guys, if you go back.
That's what I'm talking about. I like that. That harkens back to the Super Vegeta I'm talking about. I do like that.
Okay, maybe they just did it better in Z then, because in Super he just looks poorly drawn, and I don't like the eyes. I think the fucking like, oh, now he has pupils. Why?
I think you're being a little nitpicky, but I feel you though.
Also, the sparkles. The sparkles were like, what the fuck with the sparkles?
The particle effects in like Super all throughout were fucking weird.
That just ties back into the fact that I hate particle effects and all. I hate all. Literally all, except with the very fine exception of Ultra Instinct. Like, Ultra Instinct is the only form in all of Super, the only new one that's introduced with an aura that I legitimately liked through and through. And I don't know how, but like Ultra Instinct.
It's also the only form in Super, like specifically Super, that we actually threw in the list.
God
was a Z movie. God was a Z movie when it was released.
It was a Z movie, so on technicality, it is a Z transformation.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
But also let it be known that we old Taku don't just hate all the new things. Okay, we promise. We promise that we don't just hate everything that's new. Fucking
no, I
God
love new things when they're good.
Don't hate Bombas Zoomers.
Also, I need to say this for Kieran. Kieran, I'm sorry I made you praise Ultimate Battle.
There's like so many things. You were like, he has me, because Scott wrote most of these things, and he has me saying all these lines, like how much I loved.
Correction, all these lies.
Yeah, all these lies about how I loved the Ultimate Battle. I'm like, oh my God, I hate that song.
Luckily, I was able to take out you praising Kale. So
yeah, it's like, oh, Kale implements Legendary Super Saiyan in a really unique way. I'm like, I hate this.
Yeah, he hates Kale.
I mean, which it tastes like waxy cabbage.
I mean, oh God, Kale is the worst. I would only.
Kale, it's fine. You put it in a smoothie.
Yeah, but then you get like those flecks.
Hey, it's good for you.
It is good for you.
But yeah, so Yeah, no, I don't
that's
like
it. Those are like all the transformations. Like, yeah, Super Saiyan Blue Ascended, whatever the fuck, didn't make my list. I just call it Royal Blue because, you know, he's Prince and it sounds better.
Royal Blue. I had it, I think. So I had it somewhere, if I remember.
I'll say, in a point in its favor, it looks better than regular Blue. And
it does.
At least you get to see him achieve it in some form of narrative moment.
I'll say I like the blue that it is, but I don't like the aura, and I don't like the way they actually draw Vegeta when he's in it.
I don't like that it's basically a throwaway form that's like, yeah, this doesn't really fucking matter. We're just trying to get done here. Here, Vegeta, have your fucking scraps.
Yeah, here's
you know what?
Lollipop.
That's also the other thing. You know that it's only there because he can't do Ultra Instinct, which I think was bullshit. I think he should have actually. We talked about the fact that maybe
if he had harnessed the attack side of it and Goku harnessed the defense side of it, and then they did a fusion and
or if they had a 2-on-1 fight and beat Jiren, and that would have proven like, no, friends do matter. Go fuck yourself. That would have been amazing. Man, let us write Dragon Ball Super. I'm joking. We're not.
Don't actually let us do that.
Don't light any fires.
Don't let us do these things. They already homaged us with Popo, according to the internet. So
according to the internet, they didn't actually. They don't care about the bridge.
They didn't actually, but still.
Yeah. Sorry, there's some people who think that we think that we're hot shit, or that I'm sorry. I just don't want to feed those people.
It's just fun to speculate.
Look, man, my shit don't stink. It's fine.
Anyway, but that's super. Let's. Is there anything in GT that we didn't cover? I can't.
Is Sin Shenron? I think.
I would have argued Baby Vegeta potentially.
Oh yeah, Baby Vegeta, Golden Nozaru.
We got Golden Nozaru in the list. So that's fine. I'm happy that got in there. Baby would be the only other one potentially, just because they do apply it to other characters and heroes. Baby Janemba, who I think goes Majin as a fucking villain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Heroes is crazy. Like, do we even talk about Heroes? Because it's insane.
But I feel like
I feel like I'm unqualified to talk about Heroes.
You might be a little unqualified. Hey, we could just do a reaction thingy where I can show you all the stupid Heroes shit and get your guffaws.
Good lord.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love to. If I actually don't know how we could do it, but I would absolutely love to do a marathon where we just watch through all of the Dragon Ball superheroes anime.
Well, stay tuned for announcements on that front, I suppose. But Baby Vegeta, like with his big old mid-90s, early 2000s shoulder pads and
when he first transforms, and they call it Super Baby 1
Super
in some
Baby
circles, where he has like the big like boosters, like Cell's head but wide and on his shoulders. It looks really weird.
Yeah.
Then I think Super Baby 2, the one that most people think of when they think Baby Vegeta.
I will always give GT this to its credit. Man, did they go way outside the box with a lot of their plots. Like they were creative.
Yeah.
I won't get on my GT pedestal, but I love the concept for almost every arc.
I agree, except for Super 17.
Yeah, okay. Super 17 doesn't happen. It doesn't count.
Super 17 is a transformation.
Does he count as a transformation, even though he's kind of just a fusion?
Yes. Potara's on the list. Done.
I'm gonna say this. It is not a technique.
It's not a Potara fusion. It's more a fusion in the sense of what Android 13 did, where they just kind of absorb each other.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's absorption, and they transform, and then they become Super 17, which I actually kind of like his design, but
I love Super 17's design much.
It's Adam Driver 17. He's just really wide.
Adam Driver for Super 17 in the Dragon Ball GT movie. Go.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then the Shen like all the Shenrons, or at least Omega
Sin Shenron to Omega Shenron is like the big one.
I think, who is it? Naturon gets big. Or Oceanus does the Zarbon thing. And then Sin. I think we talked maybe a bit about Omega. I don't remember if I had Omega on. Yes, I did have Omega on my list. I think we talked about it slightly, where it was like, I don't know if this counts as a transformation. Which it
does, because like he does change form. It's not like he doesn't substantially change form, but he gets like bigger, and he's the Dragon Balls in his chest is a cool look.
I love it's so fucking neat, like the way that all comes together. Like
Yeah.
it ties really well into the impetus for the Shadow Dragon stuff for him to do that.
I really, man, all these concepts I really like.
I know.
The thing about GT is all of them feel like they would have been great concepts for Dragon Ball Z movies, but then they get like paced out in the show and they just kind of get a little wonky.
That's why,
Also,
like, I hope they do something like that. A lot of people are writing out like, "Oh, GT isn't canon because of XYZ." They still haven't gotten there technically. You telling me they're not gonna do that if it sells toys? They're gonna do whatever the fuck they want. I think they might.
I would actually, if you told me that they were going to do GT movies and kind of correct some of their stuff and also animate them better, because that was another problem.
Yeah,
with
the
GT.
animation is not very good for like 90% of that show.
Yeah, I will say though, rewatching some of the Goku versus Baby stuff, there was actually some really good stuff in there.
Did you see it? Because there really is. There's some really good shit.
I remember enjoying GT when I was a kid and watching it for the first time, and then just slowly realizing like a lot of this doesn't make sense and it's a little weird, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's one of those things that I just fell out of love with when I grew up.
Ultimately, my biggest issue coming back to it is that the storyboarding is actually really kind of boring. Like, they have some cool, well-animated shots, but none of it feels all that dynamic or creative, so it kind of just like, oh, you got some good stuff here, but if you'd really just taken more time, because unfortunately, GT's whole production was really, really flawed. They knew what they wanted to do early on, and then people didn't like it, so they're like, shit, change everything. We're gonna do more fighting, and then it's unfortunate because I don't hate what they were trying to do at the beginning. It was just you can't just go back. You can't just do that.
Yeah, but of all the forms in GT, like, I think I even had Omega Shenron on my like honorable mentions list. I think he was the one that like could have made it from GT for me.
Considering
outside of Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan 4 was in fact on my list.
Considering he is one of the better like villains and definitely to me the best idea out of GT. Yeah, like I can see that. Although there was one thing that we didn't cover, although we covered it plenty well in the actual episode about Broly. I do at least want to one more time mention his Wrath state. Yeah,
which when we were doing the legendary Super Saiyan, like when we put that on the list, I thought that was part of it. Like I thought that was like just a piece of like when I put Broly on there, I'm like in legendary Super Saiyan, I'm like, I'm mostly talking about the Super movie, like where he's doing all that cool bullshit.
I guess you could semantically argue that legendary Super Saiyan is not the same thing as what he is at the start of the movie.
Yeah, I will say they talk a little bit about like legendary Super Saiyan in the movie, but they only kind of offhand mention it once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, and this is also like, so there's some question about when he becomes quote unquote legendary. And I almost went back and re-edited
baby,
this.
You're always a legend.
I almost went back and re-edited the episode and re-uploaded it, but I decided not to. And there was some question about, wait a second, is legendary Super Saiyan when he turns Super Saiyan, or is it after he loses the shirt? Because I'll tell you, there is actually a distinct difference in the visuals after he, after they go
really into buffs out.
Yeah, his hair sticks up and looks closer to the legendary Super Saiyan form that we see in the original.
When he becomes male Kale.
Yeah, when he becomes male Kale, yes. And I almost went back and re-edited it. I didn't because I looked up some different things. I looked up legendary Super Saiyan from Super Saiyan Broly. People generally seem to consider that once he just goes Super Saiyan, he is the legendary Super Saiyan. But if anybody gets mad about that, well, oh well.
Here's your admission. There you go.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think that just about wraps it up. If there's like any other forms that you can think of that could have made
really
the list. Like we went
Metal
through
Metal Real Dough.
Yes. How did we forget it?
Moro.
How
I think Moro did. Metal Real Dough did it first. Just so you know.
They're obviously just you can't really steal from yourself.
Yeah.
I really want to do a review of the Moro arc. I'm thinking about maybe trying to make that happen.
I'll do it because he had some transformations that happened.
He kind of does, yeah.
But
we're only
really talking about the anime, but like
it's technically part of it.
I guess. I mean, like his Goat Man look is cool, but then he turns into Cell, right?
I really loved the Goat Man thing and the fact that they got rid
I love
of
the Goat Man thing.
The fact that they got rid of the Goat Man part of him at near the end makes me so fucking sad.
So would you just say that like that's points against the transformation?
Yes, actually. It is wholeheartedly bad idea. Bad. No, make him goat again.
GOAT.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it for the honorable mentions. Bye.
Bye.